rekindle togetherness, and today I want to take some time and talk to you about the new Treehouse Schoolhouse nature study. Right now, Lindsay is releasing these in batches seasonally, so the autumn study is available now. You can go grab it after you watch this, or if you're ready, go grab it right this moment. I will drop a link and my discount code for 10% off the PDF digital version in the comments below. You can also purchase the printed version from her, but my discount code won't work on the printed version. You can order directly from Lindsay. So I'm going to talk to you about why we've switched to this nature curriculum. I'm also going to show you a flip through, and I'm going to tell you both the pros and cons that I've noticed. So here goes nothing. Little background, I have 3 boys. They are 8, 6, and 4. And we follow more of a Charlotte Mason inspired philosophy of learning. And so I have 2 doing formal lessons this year. They are both in Form 1. And I have always started my children off with nature study. That's just how we live our lives. It's what we do. If you know me, you know that we're outside all the time. We are either camping or kayaking or walking or exploring. My boys start most of their days outdoors. And we are true believers in no such thing as bad weather. And so having nature study has been important since day one for my kids. We use Exploring Nature with Children from Lynn Seddon for the past 5 years. And I highly recommend that curriculum. It is absolutely wonderful. At some point we will likely go back to it. It was just time for a change. Mama's brain needed a break. When you do things the same over and over, your kids are probably fine, but sometimes just mama needs something different. So I will also drop Lynn Seddon's link to Explore Nature with Children below because I cannot recommend it more highly. It is absolutely delightful. It is easy to implement and it's very economical. So I definitely recommend both of these. One of the reasons why I jumped at the offer to use Lindsay's Treehouse Schoolhouse curriculum is because some of the things that I was independently adding to Exploring Nature with Children are things Lindsay has already incorporated into her nature study. So for example, for the past several years, I have always added in a hand rhyme and some type of folk song or song that goes seasonally with our nature study. And I've grabbed them from Rooted Childhood, which is by Megan DeBrell. And it's also a wonderful resource, and it has handcrafts and recipes and hand rhymes and poetry. And so I would just add those hand rhymes and those songs in because she does them by the month, and so it would suit whatever nature study we were doing. I feel like for those early years of, like your 6 and under, they need that connection with what you're doing. And there's a reason nursery rhymes have been so successful and have been passed down for years and years and years, and that we all know them really no matter how we were educated, simply because they rhyme and are melodic. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but they have a melody and a syncopation and a rhythm to them, and so little children love them. And then the little patty cake that you do, or the hands, whatever you do. So I would always include that because I was raising toddlers for so many years, and we're just coming into childhood now. So I felt like that was important to have as we embarked on our studies. And then also I've always incorporated recipes, and I've gathered them from a variety of places, but it's always been part of our nature study. We will either forage or we will include some type of themed cute cookies or whatever. Lindsay has incorporated 3 recipes in this autumn guide. It's a 13-week guide. I will actually add my own things for each week, just like I was doing previously with Exploring Nature with Children. Another thing that I really appreciate that Lindsay did, and I think many moms do, is she has set you up with display pieces, and many of us go to books for these, which I still will continue to do. However, it's very nice to have access to themed display components that are ready to go. Now I have the printed version that Lindsay sells, and you have access to the same thing. I will go ahead and let you know that the material, the paper she used is wonderful quality. It has a light sheen. It is a good weight. And so these display pieces will work wonderfully. I have put mine into these, and I will set you up with a link in the comments so you can find these too. But I believe I put 2 months into each, 2 weeks into each. So on the back side is like week 2, and then on the front side is week 1, which is apples. And so that's just how I've set it up. You can probably find other videos that show you better ways, I can imagine. I don't personally like 3-ring binders, so this will not be put in a 3-ring binder. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to compile these yet. I don't know what my plan is, but for right now, they're in here. As you can see, there are many things that she's provided, but the anatomy posters are delightful. She has bucket lists. Here's Fungi Week and forest trees. So they're reminiscent, her anatomy things are reminiscent to me of like vintage posters. And then she also includes the printed artwork is also included. So you have all of that at your fingertips, ready to go when you are ready for your week. So I definitely think that that is a positive. So getting right into it, let's take a little walk through this material. All right, so here's your front cover. I had this bound. If you purchase the printed option from Lindsay directly from Treehouse Schoolhouse, they will come loose. They will not come to you bound. So you can decide how you want to bind them. If you like 3-ring binders, then you can stick yours in there. But it was nice for me to handle everything loose like that. And there was a huge benefit to having it arrive at my home already printed. Excuse me, I have a little cold. So I like the spiral binding because I can flip things back, which can be really nice. And I just feel like it lays really flat and beautifully. I get this done in a local print shop. Don't ask me who to use. I also have a binding machine here at the house, but it's not as pretty, and my print shop's really cheap. So let's take a look inside. Excuse me. So one thing I think you'll notice right away is that if you purchase the printed, and I was a little bit surprised at this, and I suppose it's a small con to me, it's really minor, but it's not printed double-sided, which I prefer. However, I was able to remedy that really easily. I want my things to show side by side, so I'm just going to use this for notes and if there's something extra I want to do that week or a recipe I want to include, then I can put it in there. It's going to work out just fine. But here you have a table of contents, and it shows you everything you're going to do for all 13 weeks. And then she has a welcome, and Lindsay did a wonderful job describing what's included. You're going to have folk songs, hand rhymes, poetry, picture study, nature study book basket, which I love, and I've always done this myself. And this is kind of how I do preschool for my kids. I have used the Peaceful Press preschool, which I love, and their monthly guides. But I'll be honest, I almost always just set everything up as a book basket, and nature study takes precedence. Like if I don't get to other things, we used A Year of Tales as well, but if I don't get to that lesson, this I always get to. I always get to my nature book basket, and I feel like it's really important for our littles. So, excuse me. And then you have a nature connection, and she talks about preparation, what you should have for your children, how to gather up your stuff, etc., etc. So more notes. Here's her suggested master book list. As you can see, it's very brief, which is nice. You technically don't have to have very much to do this. She has suggestions for what you should have on hand to be able to do most lessons. And so she talks about in depth, she describes how to do picture study according to what she does in her home and some guiding questions. Then she tells you how she suggests notebooking. And so she goes step by step. So there's some really great things here if you're new to nature study or if you want some hand holding. Lindsay's done a marvelous job. She makes some recommendations of other resources. And then here she has this nifty curriculum calendar, which goes through her suggestions for when to do these things in 2021, which I might rip this out at some point. I probably didn't think that through very clearly. Okay, so this is your layout every time. It is laid out the same way each week. So I'm just gonna show you a week. I'm gonna pick a week. We're not gonna do week 1 because I feel like most people are gonna do week 1. We are going to do, how about pumpkins and corn? Yay! So fun, right? So fall. Okay, here we go again. Oh my goodness, you guys. I need to get my little tea for a minute. Isn't he cute? Check out my fungi mug. Yeah, this is throat coat, in case you're wondering. Throat coat with a little lemon juice and some raw honey. Hopefully that'll tide me over where I can talk to you for a few minutes. So this is week 8 in Lindsay's guide, and you can look and see it's going to be laid out the same way every week. So like I said, because this doesn't arrive if you order the printed double-sided, I just made sure that it lays out like this because to me, this is how I will use this. I want to be able to see these notes over here where she goes through fiction books, nonfiction books, references for the mother or anatomy things or how to do corn husk dolls, things like that. She tells you exactly where to find these things. The nature connection materials you're gonna need because she does some like simple experiments and connection activities, and then which display sheets you'll need, and see how simple my little system is. So if I want to find my weeks, I have labeled the front of this, and so I know that week 8 is pumpkins and corn. Here it is on the back, and I've got everything that she has listed here pulled out in here. So all I have to do is grab it all and we are ready to go, which I feel really good about that. So there you go. It tells you that. And then here's your grid. And she has suggestions for when to do things. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is, a lot of this is only going to take a couple minutes every day, but I honestly am not sure that we will do this every day. Our personal flow for nature study is about 5 to 10 minutes, 4 days a week, and then just simple discussion, which I think she does well in here. And I mean, I may be able to do all of it most weeks, but then on Friday, our family has a tea time and then we do our nature journaling. We don't do the same type of notebooking page that she suggests, which you can do whatever you need, and I think that's really important to understand when you buy these curriculums. This is a guide, so it should work for you and your family, and if you have established routines or rhythms and you don't feel like they need to change, then please don't change them. Make the curriculum work for you. I'm not making a change. What we're doing works. So our current rhythm of how we do our nature journals will fit right into this perfectly. It's not going to change anything at all. And we're not going to lose the value of the curriculum. But anyway, she has suggestions for what to do each day. And one of the things I wanted to mention to you is that this truly could be a preschool curriculum. For your children who are 5 and under, you could absolutely make this how you connect with that child. And if you only have one kid, this could be such a wonderful year. I truly, when my eldest was 3, I took Exploring Nature with Children, and that's how we began. We just started studying nature together and reading great picture books. So anyway, moving on, she has included the song that she suggests and that she provides. She has a Spotify list prepped for us. She has a YouTube channel that shows you how to do the hand rhyme, and she shows you the motions, and she lists the motions here. Lindsay has just done a spectacular job with the details in this. Here I go again. Sorry, you guys. So here is your poetry, I believe. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at our guide. I think that is the poem. Yeah. Here's your poem. And then finally, this particular week, has a recipe, which I love. Oh my gosh, if we had a recipe for every week, I would just be falling over myself. I already am falling over myself because this is wonderful. So let me show you a couple other things, but I'm gonna pull them out. So talking about nature study, this is what I love so much for teaching my boys how to be little scientists. And guys, if you are coming at this from a Charlotte Mason perspective, or really if you're doing nature study at all, please understand, like, this is science, and this is teaching your children science skills and how to be observers and how to document data. So a nature journal, it's not about beauty as much as it's about learning to pay attention to details and accurately describe things, compare things. So this book does that brilliantly. This man, John Muir Laws, he's brilliant. You can actually access his YouTube videos for free, and he gives complete lessons on nature journaling from this book. But I just go in here and I do one of these lessons on my own. So the beginning kind of goes over a bunch of different stuff, but here are the lessons. So let's see. Here's a lesson here. It says string safari, and it tells you step by step how to do it. It tells you how long it's going to take, what you need to bring, and what your nature journal. It gives you some examples and like kind of expectations and what to say to your children. Here's a step by step. This man is a genius, and if I can ever go to one of his conferences, I absolutely will. But I feel like this particular book could go with your child through high school. Like, it's has 31 field activities that you can do with your children. Please, you guys, this is well worth the $20. Grab it. I began using it about 18 months ago, and my kids' journals have exploded since then. So we'll be using this. We will continue to pair this with our nature study from Treehouse Schoolhouse. And then I also wanted to show you these. These are my favorite little local field, or not local, but little field guides. They are US based, so if you're not in the US, I'm sorry. But they are just delightful. This is a vintage one. I find them on eBay from time to time, and I snag them if they're in good condition, or thrift books. But they have them on like everything. And then you can also buy the new ones too if you can't find a good quality old one, vintage one. And so I have those for my children, and I'll just show you. So we keep these with our nature things so that my children know where to find them. They're great for like taking on the trail. They're really small and compact, just for comparison, so you can see the size. So here's the size of them compared to like a full-size book. This nature journaling book is like an 8x11 probably, and here's the Pond Life. So it's pretty small. I'd say it's like 4 inches, maybe by 3 inches. They're real small. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you this. We also have the butterfly one. This is the Georgia one, obviously, because we live in Georgia, but you can get these in other states. And this is set up super cool. So we do a lot of bird study. And it's set up by color, which is so great for your kids who aren't reading yet, pre-literacy. So if you see a bird and the bird is mostly red, you would thumb over to the red section. Okay. And you could look, and you have these beautiful photographs, and it tells you like when you can expect to see these birds, what the male and female look like, etc. So this has been a delightful asset in our home. I'm pretty sure that I bought this off thrift books, but I've also seen these on Amazon. I always check thrift books first because deals. That is what we're going to use this coming 2021-2022 school year. Like I said, this is Lindsay's Treehouse Schoolhouse nature study curriculum. She is releasing them seasonally, autumn, then winter, then spring, then summer. And once you've purchased it all, you have what you need for years to come. It's the same thing that I did with Exploring Nature with Children. I used it for 5 years. I can go back and use it again in the future. It's just a wonderful resource, well worth investing in for your family. If you have questions, you can put them in the comments below, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at Kindle Togetherness. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I am a mom just like you, and I also work a couple different jobs, so I'm a little slow in loading things, but I have goals to be more helpful. If you have suggestions or things you'd love to see, you're always welcome to send those over to me. But I hope this was helpful to you. I think that Lindsay has created a quality resource well worth having in your life.